I'm Chris Barker.
And I'm Will Betts, and this is the MusicTech My Forever Studio podcast brought to you in partnership with Audient. And we're coming to you today from TYX at Talyard Studios, London.
That's right, and in this podcast we speak with musicians, DJs, producers about their Fantasy Forever studio.
The fantasy studio that our guests dream up today is one that they're going to have to live with for the rest of eternity. But even in Studio Foreverdom, we do have some rules.
That's right, our guests can first pick a computer, a DAW and an audio interface. They get those free, and then they get 6 other bits of studio kit plus 1 luxury item.
There is one more rule though, isn't there, Chris?
Yes!
No bundles!
That's right, no bundles. Choosing something sold as a separate package of hardware or software is forbidden.
Our guest this time is an artist, producer and DJ whose eclectic productions fuse house, techno and disco, and he's been filling up dance floors across the world.
That's right, and he loves a studio filled with analog kit too, so will it be a synth pack studio today?
We will find out. This is My Forever Studio with Ryan Aitchison, aka Mella Dee. Welcome.
Welcome.
Cheers. Thanks for having me.
No problem. Thank you for coming. We're very excited. And yeah, we spotted a lot of this analog kit, so we'll get to that at some point, hopefully, I think. First off, let's talk a little bit about, before we get into dreaming up the studio, let's talk about your sort of career so far and, you know, how you've got to where you were, how you got into music production. Like, what were your first sort of inklings in music and music technology and making kind of electronic music?
I started out as a DJ at first, and then I had some friends who were more technically minded than me. They got a copy of Reason, and then it sort of started me just being a bit at the back of the room, being like, it should sound like this. You need to do that. Let's make it sound like
That's
this.
the classic DJ producer kind of relationship,
just being like, I know what the vibe is. You know how to use that program. Let's crack on with that. And then we did stuff there. Then someone got Ableton. Not long into that. Then we started out like working with Ableton. And I just sort of took that myself, just a little crap, like PC, laptop sort of thing, headphones, just sort of...
So you kind of got frustrated with being like, just let me do it kind of thing.
Yeah, I just sort of like had my own ideas and that. I mean, before that, I suppose like very, very first start is like dance EJ, stuff like that, EJ sort of games where it's like thingy. So I guess that's why Ableton probably works quite well, because it's just like blocks of sound almost, like you're moving around.
Yeah.
You know,
but it was all about like knowing what's going to work in the club or as a DJ.
Yeah. It was very much, that's what it is. It's very much comes from just like understanding sort of clubs.
And what was the moment? I think a lot of people have it. One moment when you made something and you thought, "Hang on, this is different to all the other shit I've been making. This is, this is something now." When you thought, or was it much more gradual?
It's more gradual, I'd say. That's constant. That's like, I don't think that's one's ever ended, you know?
Right, okay.
I'm like, all right, now I've got an idea what I'm doing. And then I learn something new and I'm like, oh no.
But was there a specific track or a moment
Not particularly, I think. Some of like, we had a track that got played sort of on a Facts Back podcast by Blawan. I remember that being like, oh wow, like people are going to play these records and that.
And how did that all happen? Were you just putting stuff out there on like...
Just sending records out to people. I was always just making connections, you know. Because I was like in Doncaster, not much going on. So I was doing pirate radio station in Leeds, and then I'd meet up with people who were doing nights and parties there. So then we'd have people come to play at parties. I'd be like, "Here, I've got this tune."
Nice.
You know, and just like,
so it's the classic DJ sort of journey into that,
just
really.
being relentless.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah. So going back to the studio then, so what were the first pieces of kit after Ableton? You just got like, a PC with Ableton on, or...
Yeah, just a little laptop with Ableton, with a cracked copy of Ableton, obviously, because I had no money. And then I feel probably just like a little interface. I can't actually remember what interface it were, just some sort of simple...
So what was the first bit of kit when you knew you were sort of going to the next level? Like, or started investing in yourself, like, properly?
I think the first thing that when I was in a duo with a friend, we got a little micro Korg.
Yeah.
But that was kind of like his sort of thing, and I sort of picked it up. So we had that, we worked together, got some sounds out. And then the first thing that I bought for myself, I think it was an MS-20 Mini.
Right, okay.
Which I've still got. Which I still use.
That's
as well.
quite a significant purchase, isn't it?
Yeah. I've just always been a bit Del Boy. Like, I just like, back at, like, when I was a kid, I used to buy things out of the back of the sort of newspapers and that. So I'd just be searching, be like, Gumtree, right, that's cheap. Like, I'll give that a try.
All right, well, let's move to, like, the fantasy studio and sort of join the dots on this. So, like, if you could have a studio anywhere in the world, where would it be and why?
I've been trying to think about anywhere. The only, like... It sounds boring because I'm just going to say like where I'm at now, because I can walk there in about 30 minutes. I like to walk. I like to have somewhere where I'm going. You know what I mean? And also I go to my calf every day. and I don't want to lose my calf.
So you got like a routine.
Yeah, I've got one cafe that I go to like every day, and that's like almost as important as anything else for me. Is like this sort of stuff outside of it. The room's it's a room. Do you know what I mean? I just need loudspeakers and a room where no one's going to bother me, and I'm happy days. But like,
so the importance of the location is near this calf.
Yeah, near
What's
this calf.
the best dish at this calf?
Oh, it's got everything. Like whatever you want. It depends what mood it is. They've got a really good breakfast. They've got good pasta. They have good chicken.
Oh,
good
it's
pie.
proper old school calf that just does anything.
It's proper old
nice.
school calf. Like it's like it used to be. Like loads of gangsters used to go in there, like Craze and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
And it's like a proper little East End calf.
Just like one of those that's been there forever.
Just been there for like hundreds of years, like so.
So location. But say if we could put that calf anywhere in the world.
I'll take it up north. I'll go back to Yorkshire or something.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And what, you thinking countryside Yorkshire or a specific city?
Maybe.
Or?
I feel like I'd say countryside just for like the idea of beautiful views, but I've never really been around countryside. You know what I mean? I quite like sort of amenities and sort of like real life, but like give us some views in hills. As long as I can like walk to somewhere.
So you could have like the city behind you maybe,
like,
and then like the studio faces the country.
There's minimal public transport and there's minimal like driving and all that sort of stuff. Just me on my foot walking, getting there.
Between the calf and the studio.
Yeah,
and
and home and the sound.
Like in the Dales somewhere, you're thinking?
Yeah, we'll go to Dales. Dales will be nice. Some probably North Yorkshire because it's a lot nicer up there.
Right. Okay. And what about inside? You said you don't really mind, but like in the dream fantasy, if you can have anything, like what would you like the vibe to be in the studio? Like did you like windows and natural light? Some people like bunkers, some people.
I've never experienced windows in the studio apart from when I've been to someone else's, so I don't really know. Like I guess it'd be nice. I feel like it could be distracting. Like there's that thing. Like I feel like it's a balance with like the windows. Like I think it's got its benefits, it's got its things, but it's nice to just be in a bunker and you just sort of away from everything.
And I think as well, maybe when you're making club music as well, it's kind of like the studio.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean, if it's daytime, it's sometimes
Yeah.
having no windows and stuff because it feels like the music's represented by the environment.
Yeah, you kind of just cut off. I quite like just being like cut off from world in my little sort of space where it's just like it's dedicated to doing what I'm doing. I don't like have to think about the outside world in any way.
And do you like kind of a really ultra tidy work environment, or do you like it to feel like sort of playroom, just like shit everywhere? And
No, yeah, it doesn't need to be ultra tidy. Like main thing for a studio, I'd say when you've got lots of equipment and outboard, is space to get behind it.
Right, yeah.
You know, be able to move around, enough space to move around and be able to like sort of move stuff around and sort of try
That's an
different
early
configurations.
amateur mistake that I also made, is putting everything against walls when you install it, and then day 2 trying to make a track and like, oh, that's not patched in properly. Oh, what have I done? What have I done? I can't get to any of this stuff.
Yeah.
And you realise that when you go to studios like Real World, where it's like in the middle of a giant room, like a horseshoe kind of thing in the middle, and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
and you're not like on your back underneath trying to, what I mean? Like all of those things.
Yeah, no. I mean, thankfully, I don't generally do the wiring in my studio.
Yeah.
Like, I'm capable of sort of doing it, but I find it'd take me about 5 days and be really struggle and probably not work out how I want it in the end. As opposed to
It
having
can make you
someone-
angry if it's not going well as well. I mean, like I get really, it makes me want to quit.
Yeah.
Like something.
You wouldn't like you when you're wiring, is that it?
Yeah, you wouldn't like me when I'm wiring.
Yeah.
No, but you know what I mean. You just sod it. I won't do it. I won't even do a session today. I can't. It's not working. I just lose it. All right, then. Well, we've got the bunker. We've got the calf.
keep
It's
it in
a
a bunker.
bunker, but what's the aesthetic inside the bunker?
It's fantasy.
Fantasy, yeah. I'm not that. My imagination is not that wild and vivid. I wish it were wilder. I don't need anything that much. I want like a decent place to just sit.
Yeah.
Nice
Good
seats.
sofa.
Yeah, good sofa. Decent seat.
Well, let's look at it from another sense. Like, we talk about studio aesthetic. What about like? Are you like a guy that likes the old man pub, or are you a guy that likes like the modern bar?
Oh, I probably could say like these days I'm more to a pub, to an old man pub. I'd say. Like,
So maybe that kind of more kind of cozy vibe in the studio as well.
Something
There.
cozy,
Yeah.
Something you can just sort of sit back, relax.
Wooden, natural.
Yeah, some stuff like that.
Because you get these, like, I mean, we've mentioned it before on the podcast, but some producers have those kind of spaceship style white and LEDs. And,
Yeah, no.
So what are the ones? What are the studios you've been to where you've thought this is a vibe I would take?
I mean Devon, but that's like.
So that's Devon Analog Studio.
Devon Analog, definitely, because that's the main one that I've been to where I've been like, wow. I mean, that's got an amazing view. So that's the only thing that I could compare to having like the view of the windows. Like, is that space, and it is amazing for.
Well, we can take that.
I'll take Devon. Just like I'll
let's
just
steal that
Steal
space.
that right out of. Yeah.
Put it in a bunker in the Dales.
put it in-
calf down the road.
The thing, I mean, you don't even need a bunker because you can just draw the curtains in Devon, so it's all right. Like, I like to work in the day though. I like to do like sort of daytime hours, 10 till 6 sort of thing.
Okay.
As much as I can. I'm not like a working through the night sort of person.
Lock that in.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty good. I think we got there.
Get Tristan on the phone and I'm like, mate, I'm just stuck in your studio.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what?
It's
It's
fine.
amazing what he's got there as well. He's got. I was there once and there was a storm, and the storm knocked off all the power. But what he has is he's got a separate power thing that goes to the computer and to one set of speakers, so you can always keep working no matter
That's
what.
amazing.
Like,
So, like, what is it? They call it what I want to say UPS, but it's not that. But like these kind of, it's like a giant battery
it
thing.
must
that
just be just
that-
constantly running. That
yeah.
just like
A lot of producers, are like all like Justin Martin and all the Von Stroke and all the Dirty Bird lot had that in when they had the studios in San Francisco, because the San Francisco power supply was so.
Oh, was it?
It was or in the area that they were. It was so dodgy,
Yeah.
and that it would either spike or it would go off. So they had to have like all these like power supply things to.
stressful.
Yeah, yeah.
They are called UPSs.
Oh, I was right. Oh my god, how do I know that?
Good knowledge.
knowledge.
Uninterruptible power supplies.
Oh,
yeah.
yes, there we go.
you go.
UPS. Yeah, and they had loads of these everywhere because kit would fall over all the time or spikes and blow stuff out. San Francisco power supply. Yeah, don't know if it's like that
Good
now.
name for a band, actually.
Yeah, it is.
San Francisco power supply. Yeah. Send us your demos. Okay, well we'll lock that in as the location. Now we've got the 3 free items, which are kind of the ones that everybody needs: DAW, what kind of computer you're going to have, and audio interface. So let's go through those. Like, what are you using right now? Computer. What would be your dream computer?
I've just got an old cheese grater Mac tower,
Right.
like 2009, like really souped up. So I just probably get like an iMac, a Pro Mac, whatever.
Just a souped up version of it, but you want not a laptop, desktop.
No, just a tower. Yeah, I don't tend to sort of work remotely that much anyway. And if I do, I use it via like Dropbox or whatever.
Yeah.
you know.
Do you care about whether it's the flashy new processors, or do you just want the biggest old Intel thing?
Run.
Just whatever, whatever works.
Just
Okay.
work.
Okay, great.
Outside of that, I'm all right.
Just to do the most expensive Mac
Yeah.
desktop thing. I
If,
guess
if they're giving me a most expensive Mac, I'm taking it.
Okay, right.
Whatever's
Yeah.
most future-proof, innit? That's the idea.
Okay,
right?
Most
Future-proof.
future-proof. Okay,
It's probably
Mac
the new
Studio
chipset.
probably then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And what about audio interfaces, like Dream audio interface? It's a weird question, I know.
don't
but
really have a dream order. I use Antelope because it goes deep. You can go on D subs in,
yeah.
so it saves up a lot of space.
Well, that's quite a flashy interface
Yeah,
right
it's
off,
nice
isn't it?
enough.
Yeah.
Or like the Orion or something. Is
Yeah,
it?
they're right. I think they've got like a big boy sort of Antelope. I can't remember which one it is.
Is there an upsell? Can we upsell the Dreams on the Antelope?
We're gonna find maybe.
Any excuse to play that, you know?
Oh, it happens a lot now. So the biggest one that they have,
Oh my god.
it's got a lot. They've got
We'll
so
just
many-
open a website. You said all in and loads of interfaces.
It's a lot. It's
Okay.
a lot. Yeah, we'll get there.
Okay,
I'll
well,
come back to you. I'll
let's-
come back to you on that.
Let
yeah.
lock in the biggest. And we'll come back to the
Yeah.
biggest
Input-
Antelope. Yeah.
as many inputs as possible,
Yeah.
essentially.
And then DAW. I mean, are you Ableton still?
Yeah, Ableton.
Yeah. And you can't see yourself changing
No,
from that. You
I have no reason
found
to.
your home.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just easy for editing audio. I think about like doing stuff in Logic sometimes just because I like sort of the way you have mixed buses and stuff. But
And obviously, you can only have the one DAW. Well, you can have multiple, but they'll come off your other items. But just as a question, did you continue to use Reason alongside Ableton at one point? Because you used Reason for a bit.
No, I stopped using it. I thought about rewiring it and getting it again because they do it as like a plugin nowadays.
It's a plugin, yeah. You don't even need to rewire. It's
I
really
thought
cool.
about doing that because I like that. When I used to see it, now that I've got all the studio equipment, it makes a lot more sense. than
Yeah,
if you do it
yeah,
with
yeah.
just like a rack.
The patching and like, yeah.
But I just do it with outboard, so I don't really think about it. Yeah,
I did always find that a bit of a bizarre concept. At the time, I loved it when Reason came out, but now thinking about it, like, why would you want software to be as complicated as the hardware when it doesn't have to be?
I do get it though. And
Oh,
also,
no,
like
okay.
when you flip it around as well, I always used to enjoy the fact that the cables had that little wobble.
wobble, like,
It's
jiggle.
cool. I think it's good for people as well. Like there's a bit of an understanding of sort of how equipment can work
Yeah.
and sort of some simple things.
Cable jiggle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Another good name for a band.
how annoying cables are.
And how many needed as well. Oh man,
Yeah.
that's the worst thing about that when saying going behind stuff. It's like, oh my god.
Yeah.
I sold loads of equipment recently, and you can't really sell cables, and I've just got so many, and it's like, oh my god, how much money did I spend on cables? Ridiculous. Not even good cables. Anyway, moving on.
You're actually quite angry about
I
that.
was, yeah. Sorry, I'm angry about selling the kit, really. So now we come on to like your 6 studio items for Forever Studio. So all you've got so far is your cheese grater Mac, the big one.
The biggest one. We've got the Mac Studio.
Mac Studio.
Yeah. Cheese grater is old school.
You've got your Antelope and you've got Ableton, okay? And we're in the Dales, near a calf.
Yeah.
It's all
What do
good.
you want, Peaks? You want Peaks or Dales?
Do you know what? Let's go to Peaks because they're like Sheffield, sort of Manchester, where it's more like my neck of the woods.
Nice.
Peaks or Dales?
And then I can pop over to Manchester easy from there
Yeah,
as well.
there you go.
Sheffield, you know.
Beautiful. That's better, isn't it?
So we're on your first of your 6 items. Item number 1. What else are you thinking for this Stream Studio?
I'm going to put Eventide H3000 or whatever sort of the best equivalent of that is. You know?
Is there a 5,000? Have I
It's
made that up?
9,000.
There's
A
9,500.
9,000?
I think there's a version that's got like multiple ins and
So that's
multiple outs.
3 times better than the 3,000, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's maths.
That's
yeah.
how they work it out, yeah.
That's how they work it
That's
out.
maths, Chris.
So, why the Eventide? Why the harmonizer?
Because it just makes things sound like they're from space.
So have you got go-to presets in there? Or
The new one that I've been mincing, because I've just got it upgraded, I've got a 3000, but I've just put like a 3500 chip in it. And it's a patch called My Bloody Val.
Okay.
And it's My Bloody Valentine, obviously. And you just put like a lead through it, and all of a sudden you've just got this incredible like washer noise that can just sort of sit anywhere in track. And I've just started running everything through that and just like tracking it back, just sticking it across tracks. I'm like, oh, that sounds better.
It is one of those magic machines, isn't it? Like throughout, like you find a lot of artists and they'll go, "Oh, that's just that."
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when you put it through this, and then
100%.
it's magic.
Once I got one of them and once I started using all that, that's what they were using.
Yeah.
That's what that's about. That's why that's like, I used to, so I was in a red room and Red Light used to be there and he used to use it every day. And then Paul Wolford, I know he uses it all the time and all these people. And then when I start using them, I'm like, it's beautiful.
That's what it is. Yeah. It's funny how bits of equipment. I mean, this is kind of a, it's of an age now. This equipment, but when bits of equipment appear like that, and then they go throughout the whole industry or a whole genre, and everybody's just like the Alesis compressor for the French touch scene. It's like that's the thing. That's the sound. Not necessarily the sound of the whole genre, but like when you find that every artist has it in their studio, like okay.
The free, I mean, like the Eventide stuff, like it does so much. It's got reverbs, it's got delays, it's got phases, it's got like preamp sort of stuff on it. Like, you can't go wrong.
But it's just like ready to go as well. That's the thing.
I think the newer ones as well. So the one that I've got is only you can process one thing at a time. But I think the newer ones, it's basically got like 4 engines in it. So I could have it on like 4 different buses and just be like, basically save myself a bit of time tracking.
So this is the 9,000. We're going to lock in
9,000. And so, are you using any of the harmonizer functions as well? Pitching stuff up and down, any of that kind of fun stuff?
Yeah, I tend to just run through patches. I'm a bit of I don't really know what I'm doing, like, generally.
But this is the joy of presets.
The joy of presets, and you can just go, all right, cool. Like, you can see, you can figure out what it's doing. It tells you it's changing pitch on left and right, and you work out stuff like that. But
I don't know many people that actually dig in with them. I think they're like I mean, you can, but it's
sometimes I'll do bits and I'll track it, and you've got the big like knob.
Yeah.
You just can do like sort of passes with different bits and bobs.
Give it a bit of vibe as it's playing through.
Yeah, just play it through. Use it a bit like an instrument sort of thing. But tend to just like set it, leave it, record it back, and do what I need to do.
And so, can we hear that on specific tracks, and is that all over your stuff?
Over like newer stuff, it's like all over it. Like definitely. Trying to think what exactly like, but the sound's in there basically.
Yeah, right.
There's not many records without it on.
No, not
records.
from like sort of last few years, definitely.
Right, okay.
No.
There you go. If anybody wants the Mella Dee sound,
Yeah.
you've got to get one of those. You've got to get one of those at least. That's one foot in that arena. Okay, so let's lock that in, the 9,000.
It's locked.
And we'll move on to item number 2. What else?
I've got a really weird reverb. I'm check my reverb. It's a Ursa Major Stargate 626, I think is what I've got. I know I've got it upgraded.
I think we've had this before, have we, Will? Or I've definitely seen one of these, I think.
We haven't had it on the podcast, I don't think.
It comes with a warning label on it, which is about like affecting radio signals and stuff like that.
What?
Really? What?
On top of it, it's like, be careful, this may
I've seen one of these,
affect like radio
It looks
signals.
cool as well, doesn't it?
So
It's
good.
like, it's weird to have like, but some of this kit, like, it just looks.
It's amazing.
Looks wicked.
It's like a 12-bit like reverb, and then I've got it expanded so it does huge sort of milliseconds, sort of like it does like the pre-delayed can just go massive, and you can then have the timing massive. So just again, it's like a bit of a wash.
So have you got the one with the grey face and the red and the blue
Yeah.
knobs on the front?
Nice.
Yeah.
That's such a classic look.
Well, I mean, we'll come back in a minute. Do you want to like, tell us a bit more about it in a second, maybe? Because it's quite an interesting thing.
So can you tell us about
when
how
you
did
got it?
Yeah, how did you come into this?
Sometimes I'll have phases where I'll sit and just like look for equipment for a bit, and I would buy. So I haven't really bought stuff for a while. But
And is this another Del Boy hunting on?
yeah,
eBay
that
or
were
something?
two Del Boy. I think that were from Soundgas.
Oh, okay.
So
Nice.
like obviously it had been looked at. I think that was Soundgas. Maybe it weren't, or maybe they were trying to sell it well expensive, and I just found it cheap somewhere.
Yeah.
That tends to happen.
But why this? Like, what?
I don't know. I just like Stargate. So the Stargate have got that. Ursa Major have got the Stargate. The delay, haven't they?
Right.
I can't remember what it's called. But I've seen that. And I just seen it. It just looked pretty. It looked interesting. And I'm like, let's have a bit of crunchy reverb.
But it's definitely cool giving like these odd bits of kit give you a sound though, don't they, as well? Because not many people have this.
No, I mean it's really specific. It's like 12-bit sort of quality, and there's just certain ways about how you use it. It's just quite interesting and that.
And so is it algorithmic type thing, or it's not? It's like
it's digital. So
it's
Digital, but it only samples up to 15k, so you lose that top end. But it's the previous version, the Stargate 323, only up to 7k. So I guess it's a bit.
I think I might have the 323, but I've got the chip that upgrades it to a 626.
okay.
nice.
So you get
Okay.
the full frequency.
Yeah, so I might get the full. But it means you get more. You get like another 12 rooms or something like
Yeah.
that.
Brilliant. Yeah. And so that's like mid 80s. This came out. So 84. It was released.
So it'll be on loads of 80s records.
Yeah, that don't surprise me.
Yeah. 80s pop, it's probably on loads of stuff.
It's just
there
nice
it goes.
reverb.
Used on these classic tracks. Here we go. We're going to hear which classic tracks
It
was
doesn't
used
have
on.
any information.
It doesn't have any information. It's a secret.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
never
yeah.
used. It's never used on class. Until now, of course.
Yeah,
Now.
so I brought it back.
Yeah. Brought it back. Okay, well, we'll lock that in. These are some heavy choices straight out of the gate. Okay. Item number 3.
I need some delays.
I mean, this is stuff that you already have, though.
Yeah,
I mean,
this
you've
is
got to
all-
dream big.
But these are all I need though.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I've already got after. I need a Space Echo or some. I need a group of delays. So maybe I just pick one for now. But I'll take my E1010 because I like that.
Okay.
That's the reason I like that. It's been partly because it was like used by I think it was used by King Tubby and. Like,
So,
Lee Scratchberry.
you mentioned a lot of like dub aesthetic stuff and like playing stuff live and using it like an instrument. Do you do that a lot in your production? Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Dubs everything to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you run a desk as well in your studio?
I have run a desk. I've gone back down to not using a desk and just tracking. But what I want to go to probably like using a desk for mixing.
Okay.
I just can't be bothered to track through a desk all the time.
Yeah. But for the performance, the dub aspect.
Just for like the actual sort of the way that you can play a desk like an instrument, and it just adds a new element.
And I guess that comes from the DJ aesthetic, like it did with the dub. It comes from the DJ aesthetic, doesn't it? As
Yeah,
well?
for sure.
So when you DJ, are you very physical like that? As well?
Okay. I've had phases. I went to using Alan and Eve for a minute and just using filters, but I got really bored of that.
Yeah.
And now I'm just like being really probably over the top with my dub.
Yeah,
but I love it.
So for those listeners who maybe don't know that much about playing a desk in that style, what does that entail?
So sound like just the way that you ride your faders, like the way that you do your effects. Say that I've got my effects on my sends and just the control of just like sort of sending little stabs and little parts of a like whatever it is on a channel to an effect, and the way you can just catch little parts of it and you can just sort of play with it a little bit more. It's a lot more. There's a lot more fluid like motion to it rather than just like the static nature of just like banging an effect on.
And it's like those effects like on DJ mixes, the ones that I'm going to get it the wrong way around probably, but either pre-fader or post-fader where you still get the tails when you let a bit of the signal through.
Yeah, I don't know. Can you do that on a DJM 900? You might be able to. You can definitely
you can do it on the Echo.
Yeah.
And you can do it on the Echo and the reverb, but some of the effects are pre-fader, is it? I'm looking at you, Will. Some of the effects are pre-fader and some are post-fader. So some you can pull the channel fader down and you'll still get the reverb or the delay. And others it'll cut the effect and the signal.
Don't cut the effect.
Yeah,
entirely.
yeah.
Yeah, because on the V10 you can now
root.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, that's wicked, that, isn't it?
I remember they were talking to him about that, and I'm like, so can I feed this channel back to itself? And they were like, no, like you can't do that because that'd be a bad idea.
But you can route from one like an effects channel to another channel, can't you? So you can put like the noise on a fader and things like that on the V10. Anyway.
Yeah, you can do all sorts of little bits and bobs.
But that makes it much more, like you say, physical.
Yeah,
like
it's just a
like,
bit more performance sort of based. You can just sort of feel it out,
It's old school DJ, isn't it? Proper. Yeah.
So it's the Yamaha E1010.
Yeah, I'll go for E1010 because it's like
Yeah.
it's a nice BBD.
Oh yeah, the Bucket Bridge delay stuff. Like that's still
Brigade,
yeah.
yeah.
So
Just have to say, we say acronyms like that. It sounds a bit saucy, doesn't it?
Bucket
Confirm
Brigade
what it is.
delay.
Is it Bucket
a bit
Brigade?
bare guy.
Bucket
yeah.
Brigade delay. Okay.
So, item number 4, I guess.
Item number 4.
I'm gonna take a big like SSL desk or something.
Ooh,
That's
okay.
a good cheat. That's
Yeah.
a good, yeah.
I'll even take a big 6 or whatever. But if I can have what I want, I'll take
Yeah.
a big full console.
And specifically SSL.
Yeah, just specifically SSL because they build well.
Yeah.
They've got compression on them. They've got nice EQs.
So what we're going for, like a G series, E series, J series, K series.
Pick a letter in it. G series. I don't.
G is usually
G's
the
the
one.
classic,
Yeah. I wish I were more
Yeah.
clued up into which is which, but I can't even look at them things because they're too expensive. Like big 6 is where I sort of stick to
Yeah.
looking and be like, oh, I might get that.
I mean, yeah, it's a dream studio. I mean, this is a dream studio. So,
Exactly.
Have whatever you like.
How many channels do you want?
Like 24, 32, something like that.
128.
Yeah, take 128. Go ahead in it, like sound.
Come on. Why not
right.
have it in like that horseshoe shape around you?
I
yeah,
mean,
in the
we
Dales?
need no extra space in the studio to like
Yeah.
cool it down and
Yeah.
like run the power of it and all that, don't we now?
Yeah. Well, we can have the power supply based in the calf.
Yeah.
That can help warm the calf.
Yeah.
In the winter through the
They can
peak.
fry it food on it.
Just doing a few eggs onto the SSL heatsink. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Have you mixed on an SSL before? Have you been in studio?
I've never
played-
actually mixed on an SSL before. I keep thinking about getting, like I say, I am thinking about getting the big 6 to sort of track and mix on, and that it's just such an easy standard go-to.
Yeah.
They're just built well, and
It does just sound like a lot of records you've heard. Weirdly, you can spot it, can't you? Like, not like when you hear a record. Well, I can't, but like when you're using one, you kind of go, oh yeah, this.
I mean, I'd also
Maybe
consider
EQs, it
it.
just
I'd say
sounds-
SSL, and I would definitely possibly say a Zähl desk instead, though,
Okay.
as well, because Zähl have got like. They've got sort of some interesting stuff on it. That's a bit more sort
So
of.
Zähl, that's the one in analog.
Yeah.
Devon analog.
Yeah.
I don't know this desk, the Zähl.
Yeah, it's called the AM1.
Okay.
This thing, it's super high end.
Yeah,
It's
do you know
all-
what? I'm going to change it. Like, scrap SSL, because that's posh. Like, I'm going to
Yeah.
go for Zähl because it's made by, what do you call it? It's part of, like, Basic Channel and that.
Okay.
He's one of the people that sort of developed it.
It's named after Michael Zähl, the chap who designs these things. Tailor made.
Oh wow.
They're
Okay.
wild, these things.
Yeah, they're crazy.
So is it just
So this is like the Wonder Audio stuff, where it's just like they build it on order.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
they don't have any like stock?
Right.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can just build out any many channels you want. And it has, like, a CV channel on it and a gate channel and stuff like that. It's
Oh,
got, like,
right.
a filter channel and stuff, which is quite mad.
That is mad.
Yeah,
so
so
like
you-
you can use it to trigger external stuff. I guess that's why they got it in Devon analog.
Like, I was running, like, patches, like, sounds into this sort of CV filter channel and then using other things like triggering, like the way the envelopes were opening, the filters were opening, then recording them back and use it as lead. It's just quite interesting because you've
It's
got
crazy.
a proper instrument built into the desk.
Yeah.
And
That's
the EQs are amazing.
the fact that you can do that with envelopes. So that's very cool.
So
Well,
that's
Just like our intro said, we are building quite the analog monster studio here.
it is, yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's the first time we've had that as well. So that's a really good shout.
I don't want
Nice.
to panic
Love
you,
it.
but you've only got 2 more items left, and you don't have any speakers yet.
I'll take some, like, big ATCs.
Okay.
Yeah. Just because I know that sound nice. I've heard.
What are you using at the moment?
Some Focal SM9s.
Oh, they're nice though, aren't they,
Yeah,
as well?
they're nice. The radiator thing annoys me though, because it's like not powered. It's just a bit flat. It's a bit like that, for want of a better description. Like,
You're gonna have to go into more detail.
so the top speaker, like
Yeah.
the big subby bit, it's
Yeah.
not like a powered sort of speaker.
Oh,
it's
is it a
not, it's
passive?
Not, it's not
Passive
active. Yeah, it's
radiator,
just a
yeah.
passive radiator.
Oh.
So they blow a lot, and they're a bit farty. Like,
Okay.
So they annoy me, but. I've used them for that many years. I moved into a studio with my friend and he had them. Then he moved to America, so he gave me a deal on them. So I was like, right, I know these things. I don't particularly like them, but I'll keep using them. Just,
They're popular though.
yeah,
They're-
they're
they're-
you know, they clip quite easily as well.
Right.
Like, they definitely get to a point where you're like, you're not even turning up that loud. You're like,
That's not great for club music, is it?
no,
Like, yeah,
not like
yeah.
for me. Like,
yeah,
kick drums just.
yeah. You want to be able to smash it out. So
Yeah.
you go for ATCs for that reason, then?
Yeah, ATCs, big ones.
What are the big ones? Well,
What are they called?
They
The
are
ones that are
the-
about that big. If I've got a room big enough.
SCM 300A SL Pro.
Sounds about right.
sounds
Yeah.
like yeah.
So that's the numbers for you.
And they're front ported, big.
Yeah,
Are these soffit mountable?
They will be. Do you want them soffit mounted?
Mounted in the walls?
Yeah, nice.
That'd be nice.
Yeah. So, but you've been into places and used
my
these
God, I
before,
know
have you?
these,
Yeah, Red Light, he used to have, he had a set.
Yeah, beautiful.
I've never seen someone blowing as many speakers as he has, like, I mean,
And they're a snip at just...
Just £41,000 a pair.
steady away.
Order them now.
Yep. Yeah, they're in stock, though.
That's
In
like
stock, yeah.
changing my wallet gear, that.
Yeah. No, but this is Dream Studio. This is a heavy studio. It's good, right? So,
But you were saying Red Light, he blew a lot of speakers, but not these ones.
No, I don't think he's got those exact ones. I think he might have some different ones, but he's blown like the drivers on them multiple times.
on ATCs.
Yeah, I mean, he has a room that's about like smaller than this, and speakers like take up half a room, but you're still just like.
But in the Dream Studio, do you want... How much of your room do you want the speakers to take up? How much space do you need?
I just want it to be relative, isn't it? But like, I want it to be loud, like.
Louder than you can get it. There's a point where you're like, I can't go anymore.
Yeah,
But
like,
the speakers still have more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be ideal. Like, not blowing speakers would be lovely, like, because that's always a pain. And just loud enough that you can feel it.
So, like, thumping in the chest or, like, visual disturbances?
I'll take thumping in the chest. Like,
Okay.
visual disturbances, I'll leave to like iration steppers and that. Like,
Okay, awesome.
And have you blown the SM9s then?
I've blown them loads, yeah.
Just casual. Yeah, loads. Yeah, loads. Blown them loads.
Loads.
You're effectively renting them now. You just keep replacing.
Yeah, just different-
They're like
just-
Trigger's broom.
Twitter's
Just
not so bad.
They're not even the same SM9s anymore.
No, the drivers have gone like loads. I've got like spare drivers now, just like ready, just for when I do and never blow them again.
And you just fit them yourself, just like, oh,
Yeah, it's just like a quick
yeah.
change over. It's easy enough.
Nice.
That's good. That's good. Okay, so we are on to your last item before we get to your luxury item. So
like
your
I
last
bought
bit
that
of gear.
I'm gonna go for like, even though I've already got that reverb, I just want a spring reverb, but I want it to be like a room. You know what I mean? Or a play reverb or something. I'll take spring.
Yeah.
Just a literal huge room spring. Bang, send it down to that.
Nice. Like a
Something to create thunder with.
Yes. That's something to create. Again, very dub.
Yeah.
It's all the dub aesthetic. I
It's
like
all
it.
dub.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's all King Tubby, it's all Scratch Berry, it's all Mad Professor.
Well, we
it's
could
all
take one of theirs.
that. Yeah, I don't know who's got the. I guess like Scratch would probably had some. You would have had some.
His might be cursed or something though.
Yeah, he's probably buried in it. I've heard stuff about him burying like
Somebody else
expensive
uses
sand.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, expensive mics and sand and stuff
Yeah.
like that. I like that though. I love that.
I heard about
idea.
him heating mics up before he uses it as well. Like SM58 and just warms the grill with a lighter.
That's not how the manufacturer intends
Okay.
to be used.
I trust Scratch.
No.
I trust Scratch.
But honestly, he does. Somebody told me they saw him like warming up the grill of the mic, and then going on stage, and like it was like hot, and he was like no, he likes heat, he likes fire.
Yeah, I mean he burnt down.
Yeah, he did.
He burned down Black Art, didn't he? Because someone came
Twice.
in there. Like, he didn't want to work with these people, so he was just like, right, I want rid of their juju.
Brilliant.
And just burnt the place
Yeah.
down.
Well, that's why he likes the
Whoa.
heat of the microphone. He wants to feel hot against his skin.
So-
But like, and he used to bury tapes, right, and then dig them up and then play them back. Oh, yeah.
All sorts of madness.
So he had
Worked.
Yeah, I mean, I still try and copy what he does.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, what's he got?
So he had a Grampian spring reverb.
yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Nice tied.
But we can, I don't know, burn some sage or something.
Yeah,
over
that's
it.
Whatever
the
it takes.
Grampian ones. I've actually seen people have done a model of those Grampian ones, and I've thought about getting them. Like,
Oh, okay.
It's one of those things that not a lot of people use it. I don't think either. Spring reverbs.
Yeah, I mean, I love Spring plugins. I always reach for the plugins at Spring. They just have
You
a
can't beat
different
like
vibe.
actually smacking the spring.
Oh
on
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, Arturia do one. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Rev Spring 636.
So that's the model. That's the software. Yeah.
That's the software, yeah, but it's
But they
based
probably-
on a Type 636 Grampian spring reverb. Yeah.
Okay, nice. Get that locked in then.
I mean, you wouldn't rather go a little bit more upscale and get like one of those AKG dual.
Those
springs?
AKG ones are nice. Devon's got one of them. Like,
Oh, they're the ones that look like an old
that's-
PC, don't they?
a big. I think
Yeah,
it was a
it's-
big tubey one. I can't remember.
It's the big, yeah, it's like tall. It's about 4 foot
Yeah,
tall or something.
I'll go as big as I can and as good as I can. Like, you know.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to the AKG one, right?
Yeah, let's go with
Yeah,
AKG.
AKG Spring.
Beautiful.
Yeah, again, they must be really rare. You don't see them that much. They don't still make them, do they? No, they don't make them. Don't make them now.
No,
No,
it's not.
unless you're going to put it inside a car. So they just do like an AKG like well into all that. Didn't they get bought by Samsung?
I don't know. My head went straight to like you've got your car stereo, and then next to it you've just got like a send, so you can just be driving and just sending stuff to like a spring in your boot.
I'd be all over
so
that.
good.
Just something like the speakers, like, just like crash.
At traffic lights, just thunder, and then you just drive off.
Yeah.
I think that's right.
That works, yeah.
Okay, right. Well, if you lock in that AKG BX20 spring, and then we will take a moment, listen. We'll run you through what you've got so far. While we're doing that, have a think about what your luxury item is going to be for the studio, and it can be anything, but it just can't be a bit of kit. It's not studio kit; it's something else.
Yeah, it depends. What I'm just thinking about this.
Have a little think. Well, listen to Will set the scene. Sorry, listen to Will set the scene of your studio.
Okay. We've taken Devon Analog, the entirety of it, without any of the gear inside. We've taken the structure of Devon Analog and transplanted it into the Peak District. You've got an excellent sofa and a nice chair.
Yeah.
Your free items, you've chosen the biggest and best Mac Studio we can get. Your interface is an Antelope Galaxy 64 Synergy Core.
Sounds like it'll do a job.
Upsold. DAW is Ableton Live Suite 11. And then for your 6 items, your first item is the Eventide H9000. You have chosen the Ursa Major Stargate 626. Your third item is another effect, the Yamaha E1010 analog delay. For your console, you've gone off-road and chosen the Zähl AM1. We're going 40 channel. It's the biggest he does.
Love that.
Item 5 is a pair of ATC SCM 300A SL Pro soffit-mounted speakers.
Soffit.
And your final item is the big AKG BX20 spring reverb.
Yeah, I like effects.
That is.
I'll find my sound somewhere else.
So what are you doing for the sources? Where's it all coming from?
I don't know. I better get sampling. I'll use Ableton. I guess like,
Ableton's got built-in instruments.
Ableton's got loads in it. Like, I just, I'd take like a drum machine, maybe a sampler if I had a chance. If we had more.
No, I mean, do you want to switch one out?
No, Ableton will do a job. Like, it's all right. I've got enough effects to make it sound good.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're glad we can build that for you.
But what would you go to? Would you go to, like, in terms of drum sounds? You must have like.
I sort of use the John Mox 999. It's quite nice. I like a drum machine that I can use. I'd even maybe just use like a TR-8S or something. One that you can just load up with samples and just program. I program.
But
a lot
again,
of
you
stuff.
like to have that physical.
Yeah, just sort of that. I'll use Ableton stock sounds though as well. Like, I don't mind an Ableton 909. It's fine. Like,
Yeah. And once you're putting it through.
Yeah, once you start putting it through stuff, that's the thing. There's a 909 in my studio, which I'm using, and then I got bored of tracking every day. Like tracking drums all the time is just not the funnest thing in the world.
Especially when it's the same sound. It's a 909. Isn't it?
It's a 909, and it like if I use a Circlon for programming, so that sometimes I'll use that a bit more because I can sort of play the Circlon a bit, and just sort of get some of those bits and bobs.
On the Circlon, what are you doing with that? And maybe for people who don't know the Circlon, explain what that is.
I stopped using it for a little bit, but the point I was programming everything for it, especially when I'm at my desk. I just
like a hardware sequencer and drum machine?
Yeah, hardware sequencer, not a drum machine.
Okay.
It sequences. It's like the king of sequencers, more or less. Like it does so many channels. It's got like 6 MIDI outputs and stuff like that.
Okay.
So I was just sequencing everything for it. There were phases where every single part of my tracks were just sequencing live. I'd run it all on desk, and then I'd capture it as a live take, and then just start editing from there.
So you were literally using Ableton like a tape machine?
Yeah. I kind of almost still like, I do use it, like I say, a bit for sound sources, but that's the way that I sort of see Ableton, is more like a tape machine. It just records my audio. I don't really do I don't set up loads of MIDI clips and stacks and sessions. I just record in, play instruments in, or use a sequencer to whatever.
All playing the hardware on like the effects. And
and then I'll just do like a 10-minute take of a hardware sort of an
And then you
effect
find
thing,
that
and then
bit.
just start chopping it into it and start like editing. What I love about Ableton is just like the editing of the audio inside there.
Pulling stuff into time and out of
just
time.
like reversing it, chopping it up, pitching it, doing this, that, and the other. You know what I mean? You can do everything so easy.
Yeah, I suppose it's like the best tape editor ever, isn't it? For that kind of stuff. Yeah. Well, let's talk about your luxury item then. This is not a piece of studio kit, so
A kettle.
just a kettle. Whoa, that's so. Come on, we can upsell. Come on.
Do you know what? Yeah, that's what. Like, so not a kettle, still gonna be the same thing, but just a tap that's got constant hot tea coming out of it.
Okay, we can keep going, I think. Upsell again.
I don't
You've got a calf down the road for all this, mate.
Yeah,
Come
but
on.
like I can't be in calf all the time. I've got to be working. Do you know what I mean? Like, but I need to have brews constantly.
Yeah, okay.
So I'm trying to figure. I'm a man of like simple pleasures, like a cup of tea. Just
Okay,
does
so
nothing.
one of those instant hot water taps.
Not even instant. No, not instant hot water. Instant tea. Like,
Instant tea.
instant
There we go.
tea.
It's working.
That's
It's
what I'm
working.
saying. Instant tea.
Yeah.
Like Yorkshire tea, just like bang.
And
You
does
press-
it come out
Comes out perfect
with milk and sugar, ready?
Yeah, it comes
Not-
out exactly
Okay.
you want it. Like, exactly. Like
So if guests come over and they're like, "Oh, no
Yeah.
milk, please," you're like,
Yorkshire Gold.
okay,
Yorkshire Gold.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
We
What's-
have been upsold. Okay.
Yeah.
Yorkshire
Nice.
Gold, straight out of the tap.
Straight out of
Okay.
tap, like the perfect brew. We don't even have to wait. It's like it's there, it's ready. It's like temperature where you can sort of drink it.
If anybody from Taylors of Harrogate is listening to this, I'm from Harrogate, and we can do a deal. Surely,
Yeah.
come on, get him
You
his
could definitely
tea.
do it.
Get him
I'll
his
wear
tea.
Yorkshire tea t-shirts everywhere.
That'd be great.
I'm sound. Like,
They should do that.
yeah, they're missing the trick.
Yeah, I think the only DJ that goes that hard on tea is Mr. Scruff, right? Mr. Scruff has his little tea stands in his gigs.
Oh, nice.
He sent me a little box of tea once as an album promo thing. It was nice. Yeah. Actually, it was just tea as well. There was no
Your own
like,
blend.
yeah.
Sounds good.
Very nice. Very
Yeah,
nice.
I'm not really into coffee, like, so I'll just have tea all day.
Yeah, that's an interesting twist because, like, we've had a lot of people come on and be like, "I want a really big coffee machine. I want like one of the ones, with the big boiler and all this stuff."
No,
No.
I don't like tough.
Does
Coffee's
make-
horrible. It makes me too jittery as well.
Why don't they do alcoholic tea?
Sorry.
That was a concern. Sorry. Sorry. What? Why do you need to? No, but like people do espresso martinis, and
Yeah, fair.
you have coffee in like
Yeah, I'm into
Yeah.
it. Yeah, I'd have it like a little sort of. You could just put a little dram of whiskey in it or something. Can't
Yeah.
you? It's
Well, I
like
don't know,
hot toddy
that's
and that,
the
innit?
That's the thing. People do it with coffee. They
Yeah.
add whiskey, but there's no tea cocktails or anything. I've
It's
never
these
seen
coffee
one.
drinkers, mate. You can't
I've
trust
never
them.
seen a tea cocktail. Have you?
I've seen a.
No, but
maybe
I'm not.
matcha tea, matcha and that kind of thing. but
Yeah, well, you put
but not
like,
like
tastes
a
of earth.
brew.
no, but like putting a bit of whiskey in something like a hot toddy or something
Yeah.
like that sort of vibe.
Whiskey and honey, maybe in
Yeah,
the tea.
something like that. You could just bang that in.
There's an experiment here to be had.
Yeah.
I want somebody to start making alcoholic tea. Yorkshire
That's
alcoholic
your
tea.
bid.
Yeah, that's my bid.
Love it.
Double gold, upsold. It's got an extra it's Yorkshire gold, but extra gold, which means it's
There'll
5%.
be like a little special like bar in somewhere in Yorkshire in it where they just have like it's themed around
Yeah.
tea-based cocktails.
That would be nice.
We can put that in the calf.
Sound. I don't know if they'd have it. They'd kick off like. Never that wouldn't be taking it. Like, they would be not. They'd be.
Yeah.
I've still got to tell them they're moving to Yorkshire. Like, so I don't know.
Yeah,
how to
yeah.
take that. You know.
How is the tea in the calf though?
Oh,
Because
it's
down.
banging, yeah, it's
but
good.
how is it compared to up north?
No, you know what? They've got it on lock and calf. They know
Oh,
what
okay.
they're doing.
They
They
know
make
it.
about like 10,000 a day. So.
Okay, yeah.
You know.
Over the last 50 years or something, so yeah,
Yeah,
they know what they're
they
doing.
know
Fair
what they're
enough. All right, well, that brings us to the end of the show, and I would just say thank you so much for coming and chatting about the studio. I mean, what's coming up for the rest of the year?
DJ shows, lots of that.
Yeah.
Finishing music, releasing music. I've just released a record, so it's just promoting that at the minute.
Okay. And it'll be albums, we EPs or singles? Is there a plan for that?
There's a lot of music and a lot of files and a lot of me going.
Okay.
There's a lot of me going back and forth. Like, should I do an album? Do I need to do an album? Should I do an album?
Yeah.
Do I need
It's a weird question in today's streaming and especially with DJing and like
yeah.
your kind of your gigs are based on your best like the singles that are coming out and stuff like that. But
Exactly.
you've got heavy summer touring, I guess.
Yeah, it's always every tour I just sort of I put like blinkers on and just deal with that as and when it comes.
Do you manage to do music while touring, or do you just shut down and just be a DJ?
No, when I'm actually on tour, I just sort of shut down. I did a bit of work. I went to like Bali, kind of for an holiday, some work, and I did a little bit of work there. I managed to do some editing and stuff. So as long as I've got stuff, it's more just like bits of editing. But like when I'm back from like touring, so say I get back on Sunday, as long as I'm like not too tired, I'll be in there on a Monday.
But you do it like that. You do it as blocks. Like I'm either doing one or the other.
Yeah, I just do studio, and like DJ.
And you're out basically every weekend.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've been off for like sort of past, not off, like I've done
Yeah.
some jobs, but I've sort of been
Less.
at home. Yeah, less.
Yeah.
And it's been nice because it just means I have that block of time where I can get Monday to Friday in the studio and it's sort of
And have
I'll
some relaxing
keep that
time.
roll
Yeah,
on as well. You know,
yeah.
it's not like coming, but like there was a point coming back where I'd not been in there for a while after Christmas, and it was just like I've just got to get used to this.
Yeah. Well, and I suppose you can you back on a Sunday maybe or a Monday, and then it's actually like Tuesday or Wednesday before you get going, and then you're back out on a Friday. And it's kind of like you don't get that many days because it's sort of
no, it's hard.
with
And you
travel.
sometimes you have to, but if you come in on a Monday, it's not until Wednesday that you sort of.
Your sleep patterns and everything, like ready to.
I'm quite good at like flipping back to it, and I just sort of treat it like 9 to 5 sort of work, and just sort of get my head stuck into it.
Nice, but lots for people to look forward to.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Mella Dee. Well, there we go. Mella Dee, great guest
Great guest,
from Yorkshire as well, which I loved, obviously.
obviously. And weirdly, no synths in this. Well, we
No.
thought it was going to be a synth-packed studio.
Exactly. I think we said in the intro it's going to be synth packed. It was analog packed.
Yeah.
But it was obscure effects, really. Like obscure.
Super obscure.
Yeah.
Love that.
Dubbed out.
Dubbed out studio.
Yeah,
That might be the
definitely.
title, Chris.
Well, all that's left to say is thank you so much for tuning in, and we will catch you next time for more adventures into Studio Foreverdom. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.